discussions with the officials in this country about the refereeing standard, Paul Simpkins, and saying that many times they've been allowed, the opposition that is, to just keep them down, not allow Great Britain to play a quick play, and that's what we need. He's certainly on top of it now.
Senior was the dummy half, and here is Richard Horne, his first test for 12 months and a first touch for him in only the second minute of the match here at the Suncorp. He played the ball to Terry Newton, and on his inside is his captain Jamie Peacock, who certainly so far has been the man of the series for Great Britain. Newton again, they'll come down the left channel with Fielden. Whoa, and he's picked up by Petru. Brent Kite, I beg your pardon, and put to the ground. This is Newton again, good run from dummy half from Terry Newton.
Good tactics as well. This is the hit there from Brent Kite. Did he take him over the top? Referee said okay.
High kick from Maguire to the corner. And a good catch in the in-goal area by Inglis, but good pressure. Oh, but he's penalised Great Britain again. He did this in the test match at Christchurch for a similar thing against New Zealand. There looked nothing wrong with that.
Well, I can't believe it. The ball carrying arm, okay, came from the field of play. Well, he's not stopped as far as I'm concerned.
Ball carrying arm did hit the ground though, Phil.
Yeah, it is the correct decision. I tell you what's impressive, Phil. Great Britain have had the possession once. They've got downfield very successfully, and they really do look as though they've got excited by this challenge. This is the biggest game for these players probably in their entire career already. They'll never face a bigger challenge than coming to Brisbane, playing against the Kangaroos and having to win, but they seem up for it from the start.
They do, but they're just caught offside by Paul Simpkins' whistle once again. Too quick out of the blocks, and Australia get another relieving penalty.
Well, they plenty to select with there. You can see that Senior was leading the way out on the left centre. A lot of ground given away. You cannot allow that against this Australian side. It was a problem that Britain had against the Kiwis last week, is they want to get out of the blocks very early, but they were very slow on the second and third play of the ball.
Australia stung by the defeat in Sydney 2 weeks ago. Sivanasiva plays the ball to Cameron Smith. This now is Nathan Hindmarsh. 37 tackles, top of their charts in just 59 minutes a fortnight ago. This now Greg Inglis. Great Britain think they have the measure of Australia up the middle. They have to watch it on the fringes, they think. It's Cameron Smith again. Back it comes to Jonathan Thurston. Thurston is clattered to the ground by Terry Newton and Gareth Hock. Cameron Smith again. Darren Lockyer fires the pass. Gasnier. Gasnier is tackled by Richard Horne low down. He will play the ball to Brent Tate. This is Lockyer again under pressure. Oh, that's going to bounce. Oh, it's bounced perfectly for Justin Hodges. And the referee gives the try. And Australia off to the flying start that we didn't want for Great Britain. But the British defenders were hanging around in the in-goal area. They looked at the referee, wondering if he was going to go to the video ref to check whether Hodges was onside. But Justin Hodges, he has just scored his first test try for Australia, and it is not the start that Britain want.
Tremendous play though by Australia. They brought both the winger, Greg Inglis, to put them in a position, and then Justin Hodges realised they really didn't apply much pressure either to the kicker Darren Lockyer. He knew exactly where to run. I just had the feeling that some of the British boys hesitated, thought it was going to hit the sticks. Very slow to get back there, and they have been caught napping. Tremendous kick though from Lockyer.
Every generation in sports has a genius, and Darren Lockyer is that for the Kangaroos. They've worked downfield and worked hard, but the Great Britain will feel a little bit sorry for themselves. To concede a try from a kick like that is pretty tough to take, but they have to bounce back. Excellent skill by Lockyer, and Hodges deserved a reward.
And Jonathan Thurston here, all 9 goals in this Tri-Nations against New Zealand. Makes it 10 now, and the first for him against Great Britain.
You know, Eddie, one of the most brilliant things you see in a player like Darren Lockyer is the fact that they can buy time. Now, he was under plenty of pressure there to get that kick in, and they'll have practiced and practiced that. It was a slow play, the ball from Mark Gasnier. It gave the Great Britain side an opportunity to really rush and put pressure on Darren Lockyer, and yet he was able to come up with something magical. That's why he is such a great player.
2 Brisbane Broncos combining on their own ground to get the first try for Australia. That was Brent Kite. He played the ball to Cameron Smith. There's Luke O'Donnell shifting it wide to Thurston. Here they come down the left-hand side. And this is Inglis again. And Inglis is tackled by Wellens. Was that a forward pass? No, the referee says carry on.
Great Britain getting caught very, very short side. They've got to move out. They're spreading a little bit shorter.
Thurston, oh, beautiful ball back on the inside. Britain muscling up in defence. It was Fielden and Peacock who got the man down. That was Carmichael Hunt. And here is Thurston, here is Lockyer. Bullet pass to Gasnier. Oh, they could be in again. Gasnier with the try. It's a catastrophic start for Great Britain. 10-0 down, 6 minutes gone. They could be on the plane home.
Unbelievable blast there from the green and goals. Again, we see the problem in the defensive line. You've got to move as a one unit. They didn't. They came out of the line on different angles, and all you need is 2 quick passes and you're in on the corner. Run on the angle, you can't stop it. Gasnier knows the way to the line. He's world class and he knows it. The confidence. Second try, and they have just blitzed the British boys apart. We look very, very slow in defensive line. We mentioned earlier out wide we were being caught there. You have got to spread, and they fail to do it. And if you do it, you go as one line. Don't come out of it. They spread it out on that left-hand side. Look at the room that they had. Wellens had to commit himself, and by the time they get themselves organised, watch it come out on the right-hand side. Hesitation. They've gone out there. Oh, shocking play, shocking defensive line, and they've been caught.
Mark Gasnier, 9 international tries, 12th international match. And Jonathan Thurston, difficult kick, just a few metres in from touch on this near side. But Thurston, 10 goals now for the Kangaroos, the North Queensland Cowboy. So in familiar territory here. And Thurston will drift the kick over the bar, and Australia lead by 12 points to 0.
Big problems for Brian Noble. He has to get that confidence out. You can see there that Richard Horne completely came out of the line, and he knew it too. As soon as he took 2 steps away, he knew he was not in a position. He looked to his left-hand side and could see that he had no colleagues outside him.
Phil Clark, minds are going back, I'm sure, here in the commentary box, and indeed for the people watching at home, to the 2004 Tri-Nations final.
And I'm still scarred by that experience, Eddie, and I was only the manager. I feel sorry for the players who had to do it. I really hope that this set of players can get to grips with this game pretty quickly, so they don't have to go through that sort of experience. But Australia seem stung, don't they, by that defeat a couple of weeks ago, and determined to prove to themselves, I think, and the supporters, that they still are the leaders in this year's Tri-Nations.
And Willie Mason, of course, involved heavily in the match in Sydney. Out and suspended. There's a deep kick, and look at the green and gold chase led by Lockyer. Wellens, though, tries to do his best, but is hauled down.
Just get the basics right. I'm afraid Great Britain have failed to do that. You can't say that about the green and golds.
You know, Great Britain's success when they played against Australia 2 weeks ago was running from dummy half, as we've just seen there in those last 2 runs. But Australia seem more aware of that. They have a more compressed defence, and the marker defenders have a greater urgency on getting the man who's picking the ball up here now behind the play of the ball, because they know that's Great Britain's way of getting forward.
This is Gareth Ellis for Great Britain.
Here it is, Petra.
They only need to avoid defeat, remember, but they're already 12 down inside the opening 10 minutes. Horne with the kick. He's gone long, but straight down the throat of Carmichael Hunt. The Brisbane Bronco, it's his 20th birthday yesterday, and he makes it to the 40-metre line.
That will not help Richard Horne's confidence. Remember, he came out of the line, allowed Gasnier to scoot through for the second try.
Here's another penalty. Legs lifted on Brent Tate in the tackle.
Well, it's going from bad to worse.
It's Gareth Hock who's doing the lifting. Third man in.
It's silly play, he didn't have to. Already 2 in attendance, doing all the hard work. And they will punish you, the Aussies, if you keep pushing them into your red attacking zone. And that's where they're just outside.
Cameron Smith to Thurston. Infield it comes again to Quite a good hit, though, that was, by Gareth Ellis. Brent Kite will get to his feet. He'll play the ball to Cameron Smith. Smith showed it to one, gave it to Thurston. Here is O'Donnell. He's around Maguire. Good job that Wellens was there, and Maguire did well to stick and hang on to his ankles. It's Gasnier going down the short side. Gasnier. Britain with it all on to try and keep the big centre out, which they do, or on the third tackle. Ball is played quickly. It's Thurston. Back it comes to Lockyer. Here is Sivanasiva. Back it goes again. Carmichael Hunt. And Hunt has men in support, but Britain locked the ball up on tackle number 4. 11 metres short of the line, Australia. Cameron Smith again. And a mistake by Lockyer. Went backwards, says the referee. Here is Luke O'Donnell. They go wide. It's plucked out of the air on that far side by Inglis. That's the last tackle. 10 metres short of the British line. The Australians with O'Donnell. Here is Thurston. Angle kick. Looking for the far side, too deep.
Not a bad idea, little option back on the blind side. You can see that Danny Maguire was just positioned in that wing. But I must say, we've got to get this sorted out, this defensive line. In the build-up to that one there, that the Australians had possession, Martin Gleeson came right out of the lines, leaving a huge gap. Can't afford to do that, Sean McRae.
Steve, that's been one of the problems with the Great Britain side tonight, and we've seen it in the first 12 minutes. There's been some poor decisions made in defence. The reason you make poor decisions is because you're backpedaling and they're not communicating well enough. You haven't got enough time to set the ruck, get everybody in line, and all come together forward and nice and easy, and that helps you make decisions. So far, we've seen Richard Horne make a monumental error when Mark Gasnier went through, and you're right, we saw Martin Gleeson come off. They think they can come off the line because they think they can do something, and they think they can get to a player. The problem is when you don't get to him, it creates a real problem.
Stuart Fielden tackled on the 5th in this set of 6, plays the ball back to Terry Newton. That was Richard Horne. There is Maguire. Over the top it goes. It finds its way to Martin Gleeson. Gleeson will dab it through. That's inventive play from Gleeson. Has he any support? No. And it was a good tackle needed by the fullback Carmichael Hunt. But Gleeson there showing a little bit of class and a little bit of something different that Great Britain need.
Tremendous individual effort there by the centre, Gleeson. He knew it was in it, put into a pocket. It was good work by the Australian defence. They had to sling it out wide on 3 occasions. Gleeson got through, but again, no real support. I think we're just stunned at the moment, red, white and blue.
And for the last 20 years, Australia have started test matches faster than Great Britain. Maybe we can just weather their opening storm.
Well, 13 and a half minutes gone here. Australia leading 12-0, looking dangerous every time the ball is in hand. This is Luke O'Donnell. 10th cap, he's yet to score for his country, the North Queensland Cowboy. And it's with Thurston again. He pumps it down the line, and that will go behind Leon Price. And he finds touch over on that far side.
Wonderful
he was
effort.
left out of the match 2 weeks ago, Jonathan Thurston.
This is the try. We were really caught bad on that occasion too, when Hodges took the first one. And then you see Richard Horne out of the line. Gasnier slides in. We're in all sorts of difficulties.
To be fair to Richard Horne, he hasn't played since the grand final of October the 14th.
Yeah, but Eddie, he was guilty of ball watching there. He wasn't watching Mark Gasnier. Mark Gasnier looked at Richard Horne and said, I can get on his outside shoulder. Richard just kept looking at the ball. Now, as a player of his experience, he shouldn't be doing that sort of thing.
Britain have the possession from the base of the scrum with Sean O'Loughlin. His 24th birthday next Friday. Will he be celebrating it in Wigan or in Sydney on the eve of the Tri-Nations final? At the moment, it's odds against being here, but Great Britain looking to move the ball wide if they can. And this is Gareth Ellis again. Plays the ball to Martin Gleeson. Now it's with the captain, Jamie Peacock. And Australia not standing square, says referee Paul Simpkins.
The most amazing thing about Britain at the moment is that when they are taking the ball up, we are not seeing the impact from the 2 prop forwards, Stuart Fielden and Jamie Peacock. They have to lift the game. They've got to lead by example, and they've got to really trample over this Australian defence.
It's with Maguire, and here is Fielden driving it in again. Halted by the tackle, and Cameron Smith eventually gets off him. It's now with Richard Horne. On his inside is Paul Wellens, the man of steel in 2006. Needs a man of steel performance tonight. Terry Newton, Jamie Peacock. Australia all round the British captain. They know the danger that the big fellow possesses. Newton at dummy half. Here is Fielden. Whoa, what a hit. He has been singled out for some treatment in this series, Stuart Fielden. Some of it legal, some of it not legal. That was legal enough. Here is Maguire trying to dance his way through the Kangaroos' defence. Still going, but Thurston has him. No, he doesn't. There are numbers, though, there in plenty. And Newton waits the dummy half for Britain. Goes down the short side. O'Loughlin's chip to the in-goal area. Collected by Carmichael Hunt, and because he defused the bomb in the in-goal area, but look at this for the hit.
Great shoulder charge by Cameron Smith, the hooker. Look at that. They lined him up. Hindmarsh knew he was going to get the ball and all tackle, but the hooker just caught him. Great hit.
I'm just wondering when the time is that we're going to see Great Britain play a little more expansive. We saw Sean O'Loughlin offload a ball before, and I thought, yes, we're going to see them play that second phase sort of football. I think the more time the clock runs down and the longer the scoreboard stays like it is, the more pressure is going to come on this Great Britain side to have to play some offload football, to have to play something off the cuff, a little bit more expansive.
Just seen Antonio Kafusi coming on for his debut of the Melbourne Storm.
Great Britain are going to do something different this week. I think they're going to introduce James Roby far earlier in the match than they have done previously. She's been about the 25th minute before he's come onto the field, and he has tended to make a difference. I think we're going to see him very soon, Eddie.
That's a great take by Leon Price under pressure. It was a high hanging kick from Darren Lockyer. Morley and Roby are waiting to come on.
Well, it's obviously Brian Noble wants to get Morley out there to give a little bit of stick. They've got to start putting a few, shall we say, doubts in the minds of this Australian side. Good effort,
great
good
hands,
upload.
Great hands from Senior. Got it to Hock, who in turn got it to Rayner. But there are three men waiting there in defence. The boos in the background because Adrian Morley of the Sydney Roosters this year, Warrington Wolves next year, is on the field. And here he is. No one has a bigger British heart beating inside him than this fella. Desperate to get back to Sydney. Here is Roby. It's a good little run.
Well, the one thing about Adrian Morley, he is a target. They'll go for him. He could get a penalty any time. Oh, it's too far.
It's a high kick from Maguire. It's easy then from Carmichael Hunt. He's running flat. And that's good defence from Great Britain. They forced the error.
Great work from Hock. He never gave up the chase.
And great work from Richard Horne as well. We said earlier he shot out of the defensive line. But just watch him here.
Well, it certainly was not a good kick. A little bit late on Maguire. Tried to pump it, but this is where it made all the advantage. Aggressive. OK, didn't get to him, but Horne finished him off. Roby has instilled a lot more action already.
You know, teams, they tend to split their possession into two sets. Yardage sets where they're coming out of their own half, and good ball sets where they have a chance to attack. This is the first good ball set that Great Britain have had.
And Morley will pick up pace and run at them. Bang, and he tried to turn. He thought about the offload, but Hindmarsh was all over him. It's Roby. It's Peacock for Britain. Well, it was a dreadful start, but they have steadied the ship, Great Britain. Roby. Morley missed it, bounces off the ankles. Keep it going, says Paul Simpkins with Wellens. Here's Roby. And he thought about the offload again. Wants a quick play the ball, gets it too. Here is Richard Horne. Horne in field to Danny Maguire. Maguire goes wide and finds Ellis. And Ellis steps out of one tackle. But look at the numbers in green and gold that are there to quell any thought of danger and any thought of an offload. Maguire will stab it through. And Morley is there. It's a repeat set.
That'll settle the nerves. That's what they needed. And that is the confidence needed for this fella, Danny Maguire. Morley, we said that he had to inject some sort of power into this game, and he's done that already. Neat chip through. Come to daddy, says Morley. Crunch, the fullback's nowhere to go.
And didn't Carmichael Hunt do well, because he put Australia under pressure in that last set of six with what I would call the rookie error. Just turning 20 years of age, an outstanding talent, an outstanding player. Yet he could have got Australia back into the field to play on the last set of six, but he didn't. But he just made up for it there. Field position was excellent for him.
Jamie Peacock will carry the battle back towards the Kangaroos line again. That's an awful play, the ball, and it's a penalty to Great Britain.
And that is a good decision. He was all over him.
Eddie, this is the perfect recipe for a try. Goal line dropout, second goal line dropout, then a penalty. On the back of this, Great Britain should hurt Australia. And
well, what a
one player they
confidence.
want to hurt is Jonathan Thurston, because they're having some success going at him. Either him or Darren Lockyer are the two ways you maybe get him through their line.
What a confidence booster it would be for Britain if they get over the line here. This is O'Loughlin, and there is Roby in support. And Roby attacks them again, but low down he's taken by Sivanasiva, finished off by Nathan Hindmarsh. It's Sean O'Loughlin, it's Danny Maguire, and here is Richard Horne. Good pass to Keith Senior. Meeting a kangaroo sandwich then, though, the British Lion.
Great work there from Gaznia. Super ball and all tackle.
Horne finds Wellens, and this time it's Brent Tate who's big in defence, but they keep the ball alive. But oh, they've lost a bit of ground there, but Maguire will get it back for Great Britain. At 12-0 down, Great Britain have to chance their arm. They're doing that with Peacock. Good run, gets the ball away and keeps it alive. Morley. Last tackle here for Great Britain. Can they force yet another set of 6? Good kick needed maybe from Danny Maguire. There it is, dribbling along the ground. Chances here. No, the ball has run dead.
Well,
Long faces on the terraces.
It should have got there. That was a very slow kick. It was bobbing around all the way, and really we should have been more alert than that.
Well, the Queensland Raw football team play here, don't they? They had a match in the Hyundai A-League last night against Melbourne Victory, and the Victory got the victory, and we walked on the field, Phil. It's a very, very quick pitch, this.
Very hard surface, isn't it? Very short grass, difficult for a ball to stay in the in-goal area, and I think the outside backs there were expecting maybe ball in hand and a chance to run at Australia, hence the reason why the ball went over the play. But you have to credit Australia, that's pretty good defence on your own line.
Good hit by Gareth Ellis on the ball carrier Cameron Smith. Here goes Nathan Hindmarsh from dummy half, and Roby stood up to the challenge well. It's been a terrific test debut in this Tri-Nation series for young James Roby. High kick, Paul Wellens underneath it, safe as houses.
That was poor there from Darren Lockyer. We won't be happy with that. Neither side really has got the kicking boots on at the moment.
It's Leon Price here for Great Britain, moved in off the wing. Gareth Rayner will attack them up the middle again. Making good yards from dummy half, Great Britain at the moment. Roby looks on his inside, and it's Morley who tries to spin out of the tackle, but there are 3 there again to bring him down just short of the halfway line.
Eddie, I go back to what Phil said before, and I totally agree. Up the middle is okay against Australia, but I don't really think that's where the weakness is. You've got to play at Lockyer and you've got to play at Thurston, because what you do there is you also go to 2 of their best defenders. Andrew Ryan's playing next to Lockyer, inside him, and Luke O'Donnell is playing inside Jonathan Thurston. So they get a little bit nervous when you go at those players outside them, and that can create a lot of indecision amongst those players. I'd be playing on the fringes a little bit more, at the edges, and trying to link a couple of passes and get to these guys. And even if you don't break the tackle, you're going to get a quick play the ball on them.
Thurston will play the ball to Cameron Smith again. Here is Mark O'Mealy. He gets the Aussies over the halfway line on tackle number 4. Morley certainly pepped them up a bit since he came on. So too has James Roby. It's with Lockyer. Down the channel they come with Gaznia. And Gaznia steps out of the challenge from Horne. They're both side. Oh! Knock on by Brent Tate. If the ball had gone inside, there was a try begging.
Blown it, and they know it. And again, Richard Horne having all sorts of difficulty in the defensive line. Just didn't get down in the right angle. Oh, why he went for the outside ball when Darren Lockyer. You've got to make sure that you nail them. Give them space, and this should have been try number 3. He stepped, and not the best down pass.
You know what, Steve-O? That's just too good for him. That was brilliant skill from Mark Gaznia. I don't think it was the right option, but it was just too good for Brent Tate. He really should have caught that. That was try time.
Good run again from Roby. 30 metres away from their own line. Great Britain play the ball. It's with Sean O'Loughlin. Fires the pass to Gareth Hock. He stands in the tackle, gives it out the back door to Gareth Rayner. Goes around O'Mealy. Only as far as Kafusi though. O'Mealy and Cameron Smith move in to pull him down. 25 gone, 12-0. Could have been worse, but for the knock-on. Ellis. It was a rip-roaring start from Australia. 2 tries in the opening 7 minutes.
And to be fair, they fully deserved it as well, because you've got to exploit what is offered up to you, and that's what we've been doing, Great Britain. 2 errors out wide in the defensive line, and they'll just cut you apart.
Well, Lachlan dummy half on the last tackle. Richard Horne with the kick, and there were 3 men back there to gobble that up, and Greg Inglis does exactly that.
And isn't there a massive difference there between the chase when Australia kicked the ball downfield and that from Great Britain? It is noticeable difference in this Tri-Nations, and even when Great Britain defeated Australia 2 weeks ago, the meters that Australia made on their kick returns was almost double that of Great Britain.
Quick hands on Mealy, and they stood big in defence. Ricky Stewart, the Australian Test coach, he has broken British hearts as a player many, many times in the past, Ricky Stewart. They always seem to have a superstar, don't they, in their lineup? Bob Fulton, then came Kenny and Sterling, then Lewis and Daly, Meninga, Fittler, Johns, now it's Lockyer, who has dominated the scene for the past 10 years. And he certainly dominated the opening of this Test match. Here he is again with the kick. And Leon Price is going to pick this ball up in his own in-goal area. Good chase again.
That's the difference also, is the fact that Australia are finding the ground. When we kick, we're going straight to the man who's got the momentum to move forward. We are struggling to get out of our own 20-metre zone, and it's taking 4 tackles to do it. When you get to the kick, you've got no chance of trying to turn this side around.
Martin Gleeson playing the ball. He had 8 years living in the Brisbane area as a youngster, and his family went back to the UK, and of course the rest is history in terms of rugby league. That's Fielden.
What you're hoping now, Eddie, is all the players who haven't been involved in those last 5 carries have saved up their energy to chase this kick. As I said, that the kick's charged down.
It is, but a bit of a fumble by Justin Hodges. And Gleeson looks at the referee, says, was that a knock-on? And it wasn't.
So the point I'm going to make, Eddie, is that you do one or two things. Is you change your kicker, like they just did with Danny Maguire, or you kick earlier. You don't go to the last play. You start to kick on tackle number 4 or even 3 and get the ball down the field.
There's a mistake from Gasnier. It's given it to Rayner, who keeps it alive here to Lee Gilmore. He almost gets away from Thurston. The ball is stripped. 1-on-1. A bit of an indecision there by the Kangaroos. And then the kick ahead by Danny Maguire. The ball bounces for Maguire. He will score. Danny Maguire will score for Great Britain. The referee, Mr. Simpkins, hands it on to the video referee to make the decision. And I think he's going to be asking, was the ball kicked out of the Australian player's hands? Well, Danny Maguire thinks he has scored. And if he has, what a boost with the captain off the field, Jamie Peacock, and just taking a breather. This is the right mess they made of it.
Well, that's a knock-on. So at the worst, we will get head and feed. So that's okay. Rayner did very well indeed. Made good progress. And then the offload. Now then, that is 1-on-1. So that is play on. That's okay.
Or did Gilmore knock it forward, Steve? I wonder if he's looking at that.
I think it was 1-on-1, and it was stripped. They can't get to it.
Well,
and
that was never in the hands of Carmichael Hunt.
No. Watch this.
This is what they're looking at, though, Steve. Was this a knock-on?
Watch Thurston go and try to pull the football from his arms. Yes, he does, and this will be TRY time. No doubt in my mind, it's 1-on-1, it's play on,
Steve,
and Maguire.
We deserve a try, Eddie. After what happened last week with the Gareth Rayner incident, I think we deserve an element of luck, and I think this will be it.
Well, we said twice last week, try, but they're looking at this incident here.
It's a pull. It's quite obvious. Thurston has got to it, and they will just confirm he has not got control of that ball. He hesitates, Carmichael Hunt, and they do ever so well. It looked for one moment there that Gilmore was going to spoil the apple cart, and it bobs up ever so nicely. Didn't panic Maguire, and Maguire, this will be TRY. He was denied it, remember, against the Kiwis in Christchurch, and it will silence this huge crowd here when it is confirmed that we have got our first try tonight.
Well, the referee's taken nearly 2 minutes, the video referee, to check that out, and the try is given for Great Britain. Something for the British supporters to smile about, to dance about. It took an eternity for the video referee to give it us, though. And Danny Maguire has scored it, and Danny Maguire has to come up now with the conversion because there is no regular kicker in this side. Maguire, 2 tries in that defeat of the New Zealand 13 at St Helens in June, a full-blown test match it was. And Maguire now with the opportunity to add the extras. Goal kickers, Maguire, he gets the job. He kicked that goal in Christchurch against New Zealand, and he has the first effort, and he told me this week he's pretty confident about this. Let's see. Well, he starts not the best, and we've come into a test match, as we have been saying all week on Sky Sports News, without a recognised kicker.
It was always going to be a problem, but as many people have mentioned, we have to score the tries first, and they've got that. He kept his calm, and that is important. He didn't have the best start. He knows his kicking game is a little bit off.
And it's important, Sean McGray, from a British confidence point of view. After the 12 points they coughed up in the opening minutes, they are now the next to score.
Absolutely, and look, they've responded very, very well. In fact, the last 10 or 15 minutes, I don't think there's been a great deal in the game. It's just that Australia got away to that sensational start. And one more point I've got to make, and I might be picking on Carmichael Hunt. Why did he stop and walk when Danny Maguire kicked the ball? I don't understand that. You don't play the game according to your rules. You play the game according to the referee. I can't believe he didn't turn and chase. He might have been able to make a difference there. Although Danny Maguire was outstanding in scoring that try.
Last tackle here for Great Britain, just 40 metres from their own line, and Maguire here with a high kick, but again, not the best, and Carmichael Hunt will run it back, but he'll run it back only as far as Roby, who is a diminutive little player, but boy, he's been a giant in defence since he's come on.
He certainly has, but it's no good working very hard indeed. If you're allowing Australia the comfort zone, and that's what they're doing, they can get 10-15 metres before we even set off.
And in the face of Gaznia was Rayner, but he still managed to get away to the magician Darren Lockyer, who gets away from another would-be tackler. He's giving Richard Horne a torrid time in defence, is Lockyer. That's the substitute, Berrigan. Oh, Thurston steps through. Wellens ahead of him. Support is there. Oh, he fell over his own man. Brent Kite fell over his own player.
Very greedy indeed, Jonathan Thurston. Superb step, went through the gap, but should have offloaded earlier.
Here is Thurston, here they come again, but a great defence from Maguire and Gleeson. Keep out O'Donnell. Ball bounces in the end and finds Darren Lockyer. And Great Britain, the ball is fed back to O'Mealy. This is Carmichael Hunt. Try time for Australia. Or is it? It's another one with a big question mark over the top of it. The referee wants to check things out. Did I hear him say, will you check if there's a knock-on in there?
Well, he certainly spun around and got the ball down, as far as I am concerned. It should have been a try earlier. The burst from the halfback, Jonathan Thurston, was superb. Flips it back, nothing wrong with that. Gets to Mark O'Mealy, and this is try time. Wellens did well. He's moving all the time. There's no doubt in my mind, and I'm sure that the video referee will have no doubt either. Good work. They offloaded, and it was actually touched by Morley. I think this may have gone back to another set of 6. It doesn't matter. They've got the 4, and Great Britain are on the rack yet again. All in one movement. He's got control. This will be given. It's a vital try for Australia.
A little sign of a Great Britain revival. Carmichael Hunt celebrated his 20th birthday yesterday, made his test debut here in May against New Zealand. 2 tries in game 1 of this tournament against the Kiwis. And a try here tonight. Australia respond as only Australia can. Carmichael Hunt. And of course, the try cheered to the rafters because Carmichael Hunt is a Brisbane Bronco.
One of the biggest differences between these two sides is just how threatening Australia are on the last tackle. This is the second try they've scored when it comes to the last play. Even though Darren Lockyer runs it, knows he can't get over the line, they have a sense of urgency to keep the ball alive, and somehow somebody gets over the line with the ball. Superb play.
Pretty solid. Spinning around, Lockyer is creating all sorts of problems. Has the ability to offload, and full credit to the fullback. Put himself in a good position. This should be easy for this man Thurston.
2 from 2, this just to the left of the uprights. And Thurston, he does not miss those. 18-4.
Superb step, wasn't it? But he was greedy. He really should have looked for the outside man, but it was to no avail as far as Great Britain were concerned. He's in a good position, was the fullback Hunt.
Oh, really, how they've gone from one end of the field there to the other. Real good play there. They're showing the skill here now. In this vital period now, coming up to half-time, Carmichael, that's his third try. Tri-Nations. Great Britain last week were able to score just before and just after half-time. It's a crucial point of the game. It's a crucial part of Great Britain's chances in 2006.
And that's Andrew Ryan who played the ball. Kite, this now is the substitute. Mark O'Meally has been a sub in the 2 Tri-Nations finals so far. Mark O'Meally.
Great work there from Adrian Morley. He's working overtime in the first and second marker position. The big point before this game, Eddie, was how much would we miss Sean Long in regards to the kicking game? And I'm telling you now, we are.
Wellens collects the kick downfield from the Kangaroos. Gives it then to Gareth Rayner. But look, he's got 3 players hounding him down to the ground. Wellens infield to Keith Senior. Gets the ball away to Wellens. He'll change the direction and find Richard Horne. Horne must be feeling the pinch. 5 weeks since he played in the grand final for the Black and Whites of Hull against St Helens. Roby, Gilmore. Gilmore gets to his feet. Roby again. Goes wide to Maguire, the try scorer. Here is Gleeson, restored to the team tonight. Roby. Gilmore, hounded down by Lockyer. Got the ball away, though, to Fielden. Britain get over the halfway line. Well, that seemed to take an eternity for Mark O'Meally to get off Stuart Fielden. This is Ellis.
Shows you the quality of this
Good offload. Roby.
Australia defence, Eddie, is the fact that Great Britain are forced into one-out football virtually all throughout this first half.
And Horne will hoist the kick high and wide, and too wide.
You know, Eddie, when we spoke about Richard Horne just before the game kicked off, I guess I neglected to say that one thing that's not a strength of Richard's game is his kicking game. It's always been something that's let him down. He practices and practices, but, you know, I always think people are either natural kickers or they're not. Most guys that kick a ball well are natural kickers. Richard tries very hard at it, but I just think they should have taken some pressure off him. The fact he hasn't played for so long, I would have given the kicking duties to someone else.
A penalty going against Great Britain for stealing the ball. 3 in the tackle, not allowed. Lockyer will dump the ball into touch over on the other side of the field.
Just keep your eyes on Darren Lockyer during this set, Eddie. He is their go-to man. When he thinks they're in a position to strike, he'll get the ball.
O'Meally takes tackle number 1 this set of 6. 25 metres away from the line. There's Lockyer, missed it. But again, it went backwards. Everything that the Kangaroos put to ground seems to go behind the player. It's not deemed to be a knock-on. Berrigan gives the ball then to Brent Kite. First start for Australia. All his previous 3 caps have been off the bench. Berrigan again. Lockyer fires the pass to ground. Picked up, though, by Justin Hodges. Gleeson's after him. Hodges still manages to get the ball away. Picked up by Inglis. Job here for Ellis to do, and he does it. Great defence by Gareth Ellis.
Had to be as well. They're pinpointing that right-hand side in our defensive line. And they're adventurous. And when you're leading at 18 points to 4, you can afford to do that. But Plenty of pace, this guy. But that was good work from the fullback Wellens and Gareth Ellis. It's such an important time now. Brian Noble will be hoping that they can just keep them, get to the half-time break, maybe change a few things. The one thing they've got to change is that they've got to say, if they can't do a good kicking game, at least keep it low and put it into the corner. Keep it onto the ground. Don't put it down the throat of the opposition.
Gleeson will play the ball here. And here comes Lee Gilmore again. Got a real clattering in that match at Sydney, but got up off the canvas and scored a sensational try. Morley! What a ball to Wellens!
Did well to get hold of that. Lost control, got it just before it hit the ground.
Roby will get Great Britain over halfway, and he gives it back to Wellens as he falls. It's Ellis. And Ellis will attack Thurston, and Ellis steps out of the challenges, looking for the support that really wasn't there.
Should have been a penalty, he's been held back.
This is O'Loughlin, and O'Loughlin takes the tackle over on that far side. It's the last one. Can Britain force a repeat set of 6, or better still get over for the try just before half-time? Maguire dribbles the ball towards Lockyer. Lockyer responds with a clean take.
Nice option, but well spotted by the Aussie skipper. But that was very good work indeed. Ellis setting it through, makes the initial break. A little bit slow to support.
We get the feeling, don't we, that every time Great Britain make a half break, they've got to turn it into points on the board. Australia, every time they have the ball in hand, they look like they're going to score.
At international level, you don't get many opportunities. And remember, in the opening 6 minutes, we gave them 2. Hodges and Gasnier have picked up the 2 tries, and it wasn't surprising. They've got the momentum, Sean McRae.
But also, Steve, let's not forget that Great Britain had a couple of sets of 6 on the Australian line, and they just couldn't convert that pressure into points. Danny Maguire just dribbling the ball across the in goal, and then, you know, Australia responded after that. I think they got a penalty and maybe scored a try. And they need to have more of those. They need to be playing a little bit better field position. But again, that break was made by Gareth Ellis going at Jonathan Thurston. They're not doing it enough.
Roby from dummy half flicks the ball back. Here is Martin Gleeson. Gleeson then to Richard Horne. He will play the ball to Roby. Gets Great Britain over halfway yet again. Roby. Teammates from St Helens, Paul Wellens in at dummy half. Back it comes. Maguire drifts the kick through. Goes down.
Taken out. Well spotted by Simpkins.
Get the ball. There's 30 seconds to go.
It wasn't Maguire who was taken out. It was Sean O'Loughlin.
Neat little kick through as well by Danny Maguire.
Well, here they come, Great Britain. This is a chance. 25 seconds remaining. It's with Maguire, and here is Richard Horne, and back it goes to Wellens, and Wellens dumps it down on the half volley to Richard Horne again. He's gobbled up by Berrigan. Great Britain need to play the ball quickly. They do. It's Rayner, last raid from Britain first half. There's the half-time siren. Ball is still alive. Back it comes, and Morley with the kick, and it drops into the arms of Carmichael Hunt, and Great Britain have to put him down, which they do. Well, Britain hit by a whirlwind in the opening 6 or 7 minutes. Hodges and Gasnier with the try. Maguire briefly with a little bit of hope after 28 minutes, reducing the deficit to 12-4. And then Carmichael Hunt 3 minutes later with the try. All 3 Australian tries converted by Jonathan Thurston. It's 18 points to 4 on the break, and Great Britain have 40 minutes remaining to maintain their place in the 2006 Gillette Tri-Nations.
The Ashes, live only on Sky Sports in association with Wolf Blass, Wednesday night at 11. This Saturday, get your free 68-page guide to the Ashes, with exclusive writing from Warne, Hoggard and Gatting. And from Monday, collect giant Ashes posters, only in the Times.
I've got 6.
I've got 5.
I've got 4.
I've got 6.
I've got 7.
I have got 6.
Why don't you have? I've got 4.
I've got 6.
Well, let's go.
Got 4 or more years no claims? eSure will only take on drivers like you, so you don't pay for other people's mistakes. Call 0800 030 4444 or visit eSure.com.
I've got 7. Yes, I have. Haven't I?
Technology has made your morning easier. Why not just shave? The Philips Smart Touch XL is designed to shave more with every touch, with 3 shaving rings in each shaving head. And because it pivots to stay on your face and neck, even tricky hairs are cut. Simplicity is making every stroke count.
The Quo, the legend, the hits, including Down Down, Whatever You Want, Caroline and more. Their first ever official live DVD. Just Doing It, live. Out now on DVD.
Hello.
Daddy's home.
What have you been up to? Hey. Have you been learning to spell? Paleontology.
Whatever your plans, you can be confident AXA and your financial advisor can help bring them to life. Be life confident.
Fujitsu Siemens Scalio 6405. It's got an Intel Pentium D processor with dual-core technology, and it's just $499.
I'm looking for a computer that stores lots of photos. I'm buying the kids' cameras for Christmas.
It's got a 250-gig hard drive and a card reader, and it's got up to 512 meg of graphics memory. At $499, it won't be around for long, though. I'd be quick.
Internet prices to take home today. PC World. The best of both worlds.
We'll beat your home insurance renewal quote, or we'll drop our price by up to £100 and give you £50 when you switch. Insurance from Barclays.
They say the best things in life are free. And I think they mean bird song, rainbows, and stuff. But sometimes it's the free things in life that are best.
It's nice to get something for nothing. So BT are offering free UK evening and weekend calls for a year. Call 0800 200 700.
Well, there's a live rugby union doubleheader for you today here on Sky Sports. First up, it's England-South Africa, the first test from Twickenham at 2 on Sky Sports 2 and HD2. And then later on, a West Country Premiership clash between Bath and Bristol at 5:30 on Sky Sports 1 and HD1. But on this Saturday morning back home, Saturday evening here in Brisbane, in Queensland, Australia are leading by 18 points to 4 at half-time. 3 tries to 1, 3 goals from Jonathan Thurston, and just the solitary try from Maguire for Great Britain to show. So 40 minutes between the Lions and a long and disappointed journey home. They have certainly got to grips with the game after the opening salvo from Australia, but just a little word of caution for you. Last week, at around about this time, half-time in the game against New Zealand, the Kiwis were ahead by 16 points to 4. Here in Brisbane, the Aussies lead 18 points to 4. Sean, do we read anything into that?
Well, you know, Eddie, once the horses and jockeys leave the enclosure, the trainers and owners can do no more. And I'm not 100% convinced that Brian Noble and his staff would be happy with the way that Great Britain have started this game and certainly played this game. Darren Lockyer, absolutely outstanding. The pressure he was under. Justin Hodges, well, it's a Brisbane Broncos play. It's a Queensland State of Origin play. It was an easy play for Australia. Mark Gasnier, well, we call him probably the best centre in the game. I don't think there's too many better. He got outside Richard Horne. Richard made a poor defensive decision. I've seen Mark Gasnier do that to plenty of people. Now, Mark Gasnier again, Richard Horne, that tackle should be made. I can't give him any credit there. I've tried to protect him last time. That was too good for Brent Tate. That should have been taken. He might have had an inside option, but Brent Tate should have held that. Now, we had a little bit of a situation here, didn't we? Lee Gilmore's bouncing around like a pinball machine, and the ball comes flying out. Jonathan Thurston, no doubt, has played at that ball. I'm disappointed in Carmichael Hunt, but I'm elated that Lee Gilmore kept going and Danny Maguire kept going. It thoroughly deserved a try, and it got them back into the game at 12-4. It was a poor conversion attempt by Danny Maguire, I must say, and I believe he's been doing plenty of practice. Jonathan Thurston, the old trick, just dropped the shoulder, showed the ball. Links, Brent Kite probably went the wrong way. He's come back against the grain there. If he'd stayed on the outside, he may well have scored. And a little bit of sloppy play here, but you take your chances. Darren Lockyer should have been tackled there. Mark O'Mealy should have been tackled there. Carmichael Hunt, I don't think Paul Wellens could have done much about it. And 18-4 at half-time. As I've said to players a few times before in my coaching career, the least important thing at half-time is the scoreline. It's what we do about it now. And what they've got to do is realise that this could be their last 40 minutes on this tour unless they go out and raise the standard and raise the bar. And for me, there's not enough Great Britain players there, Eddie, who are getting involved enough. I think if you went through the team sheet, there are too many players that really haven't done a lot. They have to get more involved in this game. Otherwise, it's get on the plane and go home. And we don't want to see that.
John Sharp rallying the troops, Richard Horne, Keith Senior. I mean, this is what the umpteenth combination at halfback for Brian Noble in his 14 internationals, you know. It doesn't come easy for Great Britain, does it?
I don't think it matters if you play Richard Horne or Rob Burrow. They were going to be under pressure. You know, people will argue Richard hasn't been at his best there tonight, and how can he be? We don't know whether Rob Burrow would have been any different. It's very, very difficult to come into a game and say, right, you're running this team, son. I know you haven't played for so long. It's difficult.
Very difficult, and Great Britain up against it, but, well, the Lion could still roar here in Brisbane tonight in this second half. They have 40 minutes to keep in the 2006 Gillette Tri-Nations. Can Great Britain come back off the canvas? We shall see.
There are over 550 million firearms in worldwide circulation.
Nicolas Cage.
Where there's a will, there's a weapon.
Lord of War. Tonight at 8 and 9 on Sky Movies and HD.
The Arctic ice is shrinking at a record pace. Electricity used by lighting is one of the biggest sources of CO2 emissions. New Philips energy-efficient lighting now uses less electricity than ever before, helping reduce CO2 emissions. Simplicity is a light bulb that can help change the world.
Tools can cut through steel. Aluminium, plastics, wood, and all with a single blade? Evolution Power Tools can. Available now from £99.98 at B&Q and all good power tool dealers.
Does searching for car insurance drive you crazy?
£110.
Cheaper car insurance. With everyone talking about cheaper car insurance, but who should you listen to? Who actually could save you money? That's where Confused.com comes in. Confused.com is an amazing site where you compare prices for your car insurance. Fill out one form and they do all the legwork. They go to 38 companies, brokers and big names to try and get you the best deal. That's Confused.com. You could save a bundle.
Paleontology.
Whatever your plans, you can be confident AXA and your financial advisor can help bring them to life. Be life confident.
This Saturday, get your free 68-page guide to the Ashes with exclusive writing from Warne, Hoggard and Gatting. And from Monday, collect giant Ashes posters only in the Times.
Is he doing another one?
Dom Jolly's Happy Hour, Mexico, Tuesday at 9, Sky 1.
Coming up on Wednesday, cricket with the start of our live Ashes coverage. It's Australia against England, of course, the first test here in Brisbane. It's an 11 o'clock start on Wednesday evening, Sky Sports 1, Day 1. I'll tell you something, if the British Rugby League Lions think that the reception committee has been a bit hostile in this part of the world, it's nothing on what is awaiting Freddie Flintoff and company when they get to Brisbane. Half-time here, Australia 18 and Great Britain 4 at the moment. It's an Australia-New Zealand Tri-Nations final, a repeat of last year, unless Great Britain can galvanise the spirit in the second 40, get together and push Australia all the way. It's the 139th meeting. Australia have won 72, Great Britain 61. There have been 5 draws. And they have met 20 times in Brisbane since 1908, 13 wins to 7 in Australia's favour. Plenty of support though on the terraces here for the British team. The tours have been flying in. Brian Noble's Barmy Army. And such hope last week, it was doused, I'm afraid, by New Zealand. And Richard Horne, well, he is obviously under the microscope. But Ricky Stewart, a man under pressure, Steve-O. People even suggesting in the press here that if Ricky Stewart lost here tonight against Great Britain, it could be the end of the road for him.
It's not an easy job to be the coach in Australia. You can see the difference. In fact, when they announced the team and, of course, the coach of Australia, Ricky Stewart, the entire stadium here booed him. It's as simple as that. He took over from Wayne Bennett, of course. A very partisan here up in the Maroon area of Queensland, but it's all about taking your opportunities. And when Great Britain allowed 2 defensive lapses to let them get off to a flying start, it was what we needed. We needed something to really lift us, and I'm afraid we need to score very quickly indeed.
Well, Roby has been a giant for Britain in that first half since he came off the bench. He's still out there, and Britain will attack as we watch from left to right. They trail 18 points to 4. In the modern game, it's not a winning margin, but Paul Simpkins blows his whistle, and we will know 40 minutes hence. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Wellens' kick-off is out on the full. It's a penalty to Australia at halfway.
Probably not a worse start than that, is there, Eddie?
Not really.
Shocking, Phil, and he knows it. He's one of the most experienced players in the red, white and blue, and Australia, we were just saying, they can't believe it. Right from the kick-off. And not just inches away, it was maybe 3 or 4 feet, well over.
Right, one of your 9-irons, Steve-O, to a big green, all that area, and puts it out on the full. Here come Australia then, started the second half with O'Donnell. And here goes Berrigan from dummy half. They look busy, of course, at the start of the second half. They will look to wrap the game up as early as they possibly can, because Australia, they are a shoo-in to the final next week. It's just a question of who they play. Will it be New Zealand? Will it be Great Britain? And this is Inglis. Tackle number 4 by fair, Roby again.
To be fair, Eddie, the Australians, the second phase of attack and the ability to just do the run round.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from Darren Lockyer. And Britain punished from the kickoff. The Wellens restart, sailing out on the full. And in the set of 6 that followed the Australian penalty, the genius that is Darren Lockyer just unpicked the British defence. And Darren Lockyer comes up with try number 31 of his glittering international career. Golden Boot winner in 2003. The 2006 winner will be announced on Monday night here, and Darren Lockyer is a short price favourite. And this is the reason why.
Simple run around, basic. Mark O'Mealy barely had a finger laid on him. Watch him turn. I want it back again. No one touched O'Mealy, and Keith Senior barely stroked the back of the Australian captain. A shocking error from the kick-off by Paul Wallens, and this man has made them pay.
31 tries for his country. That's the 10th he has registered against the old enemy.
Australia have lifted to a higher level tonight, Eddie, and Great Britain haven't been able to go there. Simple as that.
You know, sometimes we talk about mistakes not costing you in games, in any sport. It's what you do about it, how you respond. But unfortunately, Great Britain didn't respond well enough in that set of 6.
Thurston to add the extras, and he's hit the post. They are human after all, but 22 points to 4. Down to the sideline. A lot of people say he was unlucky not to play in this test. It's Rob Burrow with Bill.
Rob, that was just the start Great Britain didn't want.
That's right, we didn't start the first half that well. We needed a start, which hasn't been the case, but we look dangerous. So if we can do that, we'll be back in the mix.
It's been a frustrating thing because there have been times when Britain has been the dominant side.
That's it, the territory's pretty much in Great Britain's side first half. We get up their end of the field and again, get some repeat sets, cause them trouble, then won't be far off.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Bill.
He's come all the way to the Southern Hemisphere. He has not played in a test match so far, but that's a horror error from Justin Hodges.
Well, we've got to capitalise now. And you're right, Eddie, he's come all this way, not had the opportunity. And
there's a few of them.
I was surprised, really. I thought Brian Noble would perhaps go for him. You know, try to get the combination. Danny Maguire, they're pretty solid at club level. It was worth an opportunity. And he has got speed off the mark.
Here is Maguire, the try scorer, finds Gareth Ellis. And Ellis gets the ball away to Adrian Morley, and Morley just dumps the ball down. Maguire does well to retain possession, and now he gets the penalty.
Silly play there by Jonathan Thurston. He won't get a pat on the back by Ricky Stewart, the Aussie coach. Quick tap.
Morley will drive the ball forward.
Now this is where we've got to put a move on. At least use some dummy runners. Run them the angle at least.
It's with Fielden. 2 tackles gone, 3 metres away from the line. Roby, back it comes to Maguire. They're giving it some width. He finds O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin gives it to Gleeson, who somehow hangs on, but then is clattered to the deck by Hodges. Price, Maguire and Ellis dropped the shoulder, came down the right channel. Australia, though, waiting for him in the shape of O'Mealy and Hindmarsh. Roby, dummy half again. The pass straight into the arms of Andrew Ryan.
To be fair to the second rower, Ryan, he put himself in a very good position. Not the best pass. When you take the step, it's all right utilising the dummy runner, which was Morley. You've got to make sure that it gets to the man.
Steve, I wonder if that's a difference though between these two sides. We saw Paul Wellens with a poor kick-off go out in the fall. Australia go up the field and score. We saw Justin Hodges drop the ball from the kick-off, give an invitation out to Great Britain, and they weren't able to capitalise on it. I think we've just seen the pattern of the game.
Berrigan finds Hindmarsh. He comes back to Thurston. Here is Lockyer. Look at the support wide as Gasnier goes on a run. Gasnier takes them on. Wide it goes. Great tackle by Rayner. That's a try-saving tackle from Gareth Rayner. But there was a flood coming at him down that right-hand channel, and Rayner stood up to the task. Great tackle here.
Watch how Gasnier just steps on the gas. Look how his eyes went across. Senior had no chance. Rayner did ever so well. Gets Tate over the whitewash.
What really was amazing about that set was how Australia worked to one side of the field and then managed to get a 5v2 overlap. That is pretty amazing.
It is, but Gareth Rayner, playing his 3rd Great Britain appearance in a row, stood up to the challenge and forced the error. But Gleeson, well, we didn't expect the physicality of the game that we saw last week against Wellington, but Australia, I think Phil Clark said it in the first half, they've raised the bar tonight.
They certainly have, and not just in the forwards. We thought perhaps Great Britain had the edge in that department, but it's the way that the Australian three-quarters, they're putting their body on the line as well.
Great run from Adrian Morley. Halted by Berrigan. Ellis takes a well-earned breather. Here is Roby. Wide it goes to Gilmore, spinning out of the challenges. Last tackle here for Great Britain. O'Loughlin finds its way eventually to Maguire. He puts the kick in. And Inglis will collect it in the in-goal area. The chase from Britain just a little laboured in comparison to the Kangaroos, but oh, they forced the error. Oh, penalty, says Mr. Simpkins.
2-on-1 steal as far as the official is concerned. Greg Inglis breathes a huge sigh of relief. At least the kick was good. It found terra firma. Little doubt there was fingers and pulling away in that department. It's sheer desperation now by Britain.
I don't want to be a whinger, I don't want to be a whinging Pom, but Mr. Simpkins has given us much, has he?
I think it was a tough call. Martin Gleeson's focus then was to carry the player towards and over the sideline. There was no way he was trying to strip the ball. Gleeson knows the rules. If you're two people in attack and you strip the ball, it's a penalty.
O'Mealy is tackled by O'Loughlin and Fielden. 11th penalty, the 6th to Australia. That's good defence. The captain returns.
Our biggest problem is our defence is pretty good for the first and second set of play the balls, and then we seem to just hang back.
This is Berrigan, got the ball away off the boot. Gleeson will gobble up the possession. And Thurston makes the tackle, the 0 tackle, and Maguire will give it to Morley. His pride will be hurt by this. Roby leaves the field. Maguire and Peacock.
He's had a big game though, hasn't he, James Roby? He's had a great series. He's been tremendous. Certainly one of the stars in red, white and blue.
And off comes Anthony Tupou, or rather on comes Anthony Tupou in a minute. And the noise you can hear in the background is the crowd doing a Mexican wave, and I'm sorry, but that is disrespectful to a test match. It looks like the Australian audience here have given it up. Great Britain with Maguire dabbing the ball towards the in-goal area, picked up by Hodges.
A much better option, really, trying to get the ball to the ground. And
ball's lost.
That'll be back to 6.
0 in the tackle count, says Mr. Simpkins.
At 22 points to 4, it should be going through the mind of Brian Noble to do a few changes, Sean McRae. We've often said it. Leon Price perhaps going to the middle, do a little bit of a dancing exercise. We are desperate for something. We're desperate for a try.
Yeah, I agree, Steve. Look, maybe Leon's got to come and look for more work. He really hasn't done a great deal. He hasn't had many opportunities. You know, maybe James Roby going off, having a little breather. And, you know, I'd be even inclined to bring him back at halfback, maybe give Richard Horne a spell. We know he hasn't played for quite a long time, so I'd probably look to get him off the field. Maybe in 10, 15 minutes' time when James Roby's just had enough time to replenish his energy levels and take stock.
The kick then from Lockyer was excellent. And the chase was even better, and that's why Britain are 10 metres away from their own line with Rayner.
Well, the Brisbane crowd are loving this scoreline at 22-4.
Well, Steve-o, it's hard enough for us to concentrate when there's this Mexican wave nonsense going on. I don't know what the players must be thinking. Here is O'Loughlin.
They won't even know what's happening. They're out there that they know they want to get on with it. Newton, good run from dummy half. That was pinched by Thurston.
And one-on-one, it's with Brent Kite. It's with Carmichael Hunt. He slipped the net. Did he touch there? The referee says he did because the touch judge's flag is up on this near side.
And that's why Jamie Peacock's the captain of this line side. His effort there just to push him enough to put the foot on the sideline. He is an inspiration and has been on this tour down under.
Carmichael Hunt bleeding somewhat profusely from a wound behind the ear. The referee has called time off, I think, because he wants the video referee to check this out.
Tremendous work by the British skipper. It was just sufficient. That's it. Not much in it. Crowd don't like it. But the touch judge, he saw it.
Michael Hunt with a bit of petroleum jelly on the back of the head, and the referee wants him off the field and will have him in the blood bin. Well, it's no try, that is for sure. And here is Gleeson, and there's a penalty for Great Britain.
Moved a little bit too quickly out wide on the pack down. We really need to try something different, not this one out. There's the man that is not in favour with this huge crowd here at Brisbane.
Morley. Well, he hasn't given it in, Adrian Morley, neither has Jamie Peacock. In fact, very few of the British heads have gone down, but Terry Newton has put the ball, or was it Fielden?
Fielden, yeah,
it was
afraid.
Stuart Fielden, yes.
Yeah. And I'm afraid Stuart Fielden has not had a very happy Tri-Nation series.
Well, he's on a very happy period of his life at the
I'm
moment.
going to make the point again, though, that when a team gives you an invitation, you've got to take it, because you just don't get that many chances against an Australian side.
You've got to be ruthless.
They had an opportunity there again to build some pressure. We're not talking about scoring points. You don't have to panic and score points. You've got to build and build and build, really put them under some pressure. This just eases it for the Australian team. One thing, though, I would say, Brent Kite and Mark O'Mealy have played a lot of time. I wonder if there's anything wrong with Antonio Kaufusi, because he didn't stay on the field for long at all.
And he had a very heavy strapping on one of his legs, didn't he, Kaufusi, when he did come on. This is Brent Tate. He was injured against, or rather, yes, against Cronulla. He injured the neck, and that's why he's got this neck brace on, the Australian Test winger.
Well, Eddie, his career was virtually over. They said if he couldn't play with this, Brent Tate couldn't play with a neck brace on, he couldn't play rugby league again. So he's done remarkably well.
He has, because he's involved in this Kangaroo side. And that was Berrigan, and here is Lockyer, and now it's Justin Hodges, and he gets the ball away.
He's got to be offside. He was in front of the man. Well, how on earth have they got away with that?
Well, it's not given by Mr. Simpkins. Last tackle, Hodges, Thurston, crossfield kick, collected, and well played to Leon Price, but it's a lone battle the British men in possession are having with this entire Kangaroos team. Well, they have a penalty now.
They have struggled for field position for quite a while, Eddie. The Australian side have contained possession, they've kicked well, and they've controlled Great Britain, so they've been in their own half. But here now, kick, they should get possession over the halfway line. And I think there's a fair amount of spirit still left in the camp, and a fair bit of aggression and frustration of the way the last month's panned out for them.
There's Morley, he takes the first tackle this set of 6. Referee shouts move, and the Australian players don't, and they get another penalty, Great Britain.
Well, you can't knock the effort that Great Britain's put in. It's just that they've come against some pretty solid defence, and they know that they become their own worst enemy. Those mistakes early in the game and from the kick-off at half-time, you can't do that and hope to win.
That was Wilkin who's on the field. This is the skipper again, Jamie Peacock. Will get to his feet and play to Terry Newton. Wilkin's second touch. Being introduced late in the match, exactly as he was a week ago in Wellington. Dead leg, we hear Kaufusi's problem. That's why he's off the field. Nearly through then was Gareth Hock. Here is Terry Newton. It's Wellens. It's Richard Horne and Maguire. And the captain swoops out of the line, forces Britain backwards with Gilmore. And Gilmore will feed it wide to Price. And they only find the touchline.
Sheer frustration creeping into the British play now. There's a few of them looking over the clock, and it's solid defence, isn't it? We really have not taken them on in that department. Looked like Luke O'Donnell threw a neat little one into the face of Morley. Little grin on his face, but at 22-4 they have got little to laugh about.
Notice Antonio Kaufusi is shaping to come back into the match. Here is Brent Tate again. Gets the ball away. Inglis hauled down by Peacock. He'll play the ball. It's Berrigan. Sean Berrigan, he was to be best man at his brother's wedding today, but Barry Berrigan had to find a replacement because of this match. This is Carmichael Hunt.
You know, the Australian players might be a more skillful side, as we've witnessed throughout this game. Really, their passing and catching ability is better. But they don't have many braver players, particularly than Jamie Peacock.
O'Donnell makes the burst through, and Welland stood firm with Peacock yet again. 10 metres short of the line. It comes back to Thurston. It's a bullet pass to Lockyer. Lockyer tried to drift the kick through. It's been picked up by Gasnier. The ball smuggles its way eventually into the arms of Gilmore, and Great Britain will try and build again, but look where they build from. Right underneath their own sticks, right on their own try line. It's Senior.
It's that man again, isn't he? Darren Lockyer is enjoying himself out there now. The Australians realise that they have surely got this game wrapped up.
You know, the last time the Aussies lost consecutive matches, and that was the prospect that faced them here today, was way back in 1978. And do you know the nation that produced that statistic against them? The French. All right, there was a couple of home refereeing decisions from all accounts in 1978, but they won 13-10 and then 11-10. Here is Hock. Feeds the ball wide to Rayner. Rayner gives it back to Keith Senior. Senior infield it comes. This is Terry Newton. That was touched.
Back to 6.
Back to 6. It's with Peacock. And Peacock will drive the ball forward again.
That's play on. It came off the knee.
Yes, and Price has picked it up. Oh, that went backwards off Lee Gilmore. Play on again, says Mr. Simpkins. Here is Martin Gleeson. Flicks the pass to Adrian Morley. Zero tackle, says the Australian referee. It's with Richard Horn.
There's got to be more turning in the tackle. There's got to be late second phase. They've got
another penalty.
It now. Get it into the corner. Get on with it. Don't mess around. Time is against us.
Maguire pops the ball over the line far side, and Britain will start midway inside the Australian half with Terry Newton, with Richard Horn. Here's the skipper. And what a captain's knock he's had in Australia and New Zealand, Jamie Peacock.
He's certainly led by example. He has been up there with the best.
Down the short side, Gareth Hock. Round the corner, Senior! Keith Senior will bring it back closer to the post to improve the chances for Danny Maguire. And that try's been on the way for about the last 5 minutes or so. Britain have built the pressure, and Britain have got the try for Keith Senior. He hits the number 10 mark of international tries, the most capped member of this squad, and now he's got 10 tries for his country. Hope springs eternal, or does it?
Quick play the ball, very, very good from Newton. You see how he went on the open side, and what a pass from Hock. That is what we needed, and that is what we've got. Kick into the corner, they gave away the penalty, put them in that position there. But the switch there from Newton looked as though he was going into the open side, just caught the Australian defence, back across, and Hock round the corner pass. Excellent stuff.
Well, a change of kicker here for Great Britain. It's Paul Wellens. He too has been practicing in training as Wellens. He's only kicked 20 goals in 9 seasons in his career, though, and none this year. Wellens, he's kicked one now. 22 points to 10. Keith Senior's try, improved by Paul Wellens. I wonder.
Great work, isn't it? Typical old-fashioned rugby league football.
You know, players do in test matches what they do in club matches. Great Britain have got downfield, as you've seen, with the head of a penalty. And Gareth Hock did the play that he's done time and time again for Wigan. You don't really tend to do different things in a test match than you do week in, week out at club level, Sean.
You certainly don't, Phil. And who was the player that Gareth Hock went at? It was Darren Lockyer, a definite spot in the Australian team. We said it during the first half, I'll say it again. You play at Lockyer, you play at Thurston, you're going to pick offloads up, you're going to pick good yardage up, you're going to get quick play the balls. Now, Great Britain have decided now it's happy hour. They've decided they're going to throw the ball around, they're going to utilise their skills, because at 22-10, only 12 down with 20 minutes on the clock, I just reckon Australia might be hearing the pitter-patter of little feet.
Well, nothing to lose.
They've got to do it. Got to get that flexibility, and as we said earlier, you know, Leon Price has got to start going in and looking for a little bit more work, trying to put more pressure on it.
Well, Leon Price obviously having a problem with the cramp, maybe. Just doing some stretching in back play. Britain build here again with Richard Horne. It comes to Wilkin. It's found Gareth Hock once again. Hock, though, this time is wrapped up by 3. He's got a problem, Leon Price. Maybe it is more than cramp. It's Horne. Up goes the kick. Any pressure on the catcher? A little bit. And Wellens charging forward with help from Lee Gilmore. Here's Hodges.
And there again we see the kick right down the throat of the fullback. We have not tried to dissect the wingers and the fullback throughout this evening. We have not applied that pressure.
Leon Price obviously with a problem on this wing. That was Cameron Smith, and this is Antonio Kafusi. If he had a dead leg, and as I say, that right thigh is heavily strapped. Cameron Smith, Jonathan Thurston, wide to Lockyer. They keep it going though, and this is Gasnier.
Much better there from...
The ball is lost, that wasn't stripped. Gareth Rayner has it back for Great Britain. He's given it to Wilkin.
Great little offload there as well from the winger. Good support play. A try here. Could get the nerves jingling.
Leon Price with problems. Lee Gilmore shuttles out to cover the winger again. Remember, Brian Carney out of the match with a hamstring problem. Almost 45,000 people in here tonight watching as Keith Senior keeps the ball alive, and it's with Peacock, and Jamie Peacock will drive it towards those sticks.
Now will Maguire do a dink?
It's with Newton at dummy half. There is Maguire. Wide it comes to Gleeson, who tried the quick pass and it went nowhere.
Again,
and that wasn't international standard, I'm afraid, from Martin Gleeson.
It certainly wasn't, and it's what we've been saying all night. You get in a good position, you try to turn the tourniquet, and it just will not stop the bleeding.
Well, there was an example of where it was a good decision defensively. Carmichael Hunt, I think it was, that flew off the line. He knew he could get to his man. He forced Martin Gleeson into error, and Australia come up with the ball. And that's good decision making. We've been critical tonight of some guys that have come in and have been too late.
Well, let's get news on Leon Price. Saw him off the field, Bill.
It's the left ankle that's the problem for the Great Britain winger, having treatment there at the moment from Professor Chris Brooks and the GB medical team, and it doesn't look encouraging. He was in a lot of pain, and so are Great Britain at the moment. Heads again dropped when that ball was squandered just a few moments ago. Been too much of that.
Wellens will pick it up from his own try line, try and run the ball back as he did so often and so well for St Helens this year as they swept the board in the Super League. Here is Gleeson trying to make amends for that error a few minutes ago. Well, the referee just said to Martin Gleeson, get up, you try to milk it, and Tupou was all over it, like a blanket. Wide from Wilkin to Hock. And Hock stands and gets the ball away to Terry Newton. And Newton in support is Rayner. Important tackle that was, and a knock on, he says.
A golden opportunity there, just squandered yet again. And full credit to Hindmarsh and the rest of the green and gold. There's the problem for Leon Price. Great work here, offloaded by Hock, causing a few problems there. Neat dummy from Newton. Back on the inside. It was great work there by Greg English. Just put him off. Hindmarsh to it, made the impact. Another error.
Great Britain's conversion of chances to points is just far lower than Australia's, and has been added for the last 5 years in test matches. There's been test matches where Great Britain have made more breaks than the Kangaroos, but have been failed to actually put the ball over the line and register points on the scoreboard, and I suppose that comes down to class at the end of the day.
Here's Carmichael Hunt again. And that was Cameron Smith, who was hit a little late as he got the ball away to Kaufusi.
Australia have utilised the dummy runner a lot more than what we have.
Here's Hindmarsh. Wrestled to the ground by Peacock again on halfway. Cameron Smith, Thurston with a kick over the top. Bounces over on that far side.
Excellent stuff. Just basics. Keep them turning around. Let them not have a sniff at getting into your own territory.
Do you know, there's still some life left and maybe some confidence in this Great Britain side. They've made an effort to run to the scrum eddy, form themselves as a pack. That stops the clock with the referee here now. 13 minutes to go, 2 converted tries. You never know, there's a chance they're still thinking about winning.
You know something, Phil, I've been watching the Australians for the last 5 minutes. They're doing plenty of walking, they look tired, there's a couple of them starting to feel sorry for themselves, you know, just holding the odd ankle and hip and shoulder and everything else. They're sort of just trying to get through this game now, knowing they're in the final next week. They want to be there, they want to be playing. I don't want to get injured, I don't want to have anything go against me, and they've got to be careful because Great Britain have decided that they're going to play a lot of second phase play. They have to. They're going to take the odds to it. If they can get an even share of possession, even a little bit more, I think would be good for them in the next 10 minutes, and they're going to score points.
Here's Morley. Kaufusi all over his back, and Cameron Smith with the initial challenge. Newton finds Gareth Ellis again. Last tackle here for Great Britain. Carmichael Hunt has funneled back, ready for the kick. And Gleeson is trapped, gets the kick in, not the best. Here's Greg Inglis.
Good positioning by the winger as well. Just a bit of confusion in the British camp yet again. Not having a specialised field kicker. Was left to a real panic kick from Martin Gleeson. Though having said that, I think this is probably the best 10 minutes that we've seen from Britain when it comes into attacking terms.
Kaufusi, Thurston and Lockyer and Gasnier again. Senior watches him, does well. There's a call out wide here from Carmichael Hunt. He wants the kick to the corner. He wants the invitation to run. This is Hindmarsh. He's still calling for it, Carmichael Hunt, out here on the wing. And Darren Lockyer's just spotted him. He's given the thumbs up. It's with Lockyer. They're running it. Thurston, there's the kick down the line. It will turn Lee Gilmore around. The ball, though, will skip dead.
When you've got the time on your side, it doesn't really matter if the kick is a little bit too strong. You know you can set up on that 30-metre line. And the way they've been doing their defence is a good unit. Very difficult for Great Britain to get anyway through the gaps.
Wilkin, good ball, and Horn. Well, Kaufusi was round the neck, but nothing forthcoming from Mr. Simpkins. This is Wellens, and it's Wilkin, and Hock bounces off one challenge. Oh, flicks the ball away. I think that was planned. Ellis tries to do the same, but has gifted it back to Tupou.
Well, that's a shame, really, because the work that we've seen over the last 20 minutes from Gareth Hock, he's run himself into the ground.
Well, you've just got to take it to the limit, haven't you, Steve? I mean, look at that.
You've got to try it.
You have.
12 points adrift. You can't just plan an attack. Got to do something.
Lockyer attacking the line again. Great ball to Carmichael Hunt. He dabs it down the line. Job here for Wellens to do. Big work for Wellens to do. Oh, I think Senior was taking a man out there, and the crowd agree.
But the referee, Eddie, thinks that he did it legally. He didn't take him out, he did what he was entitled to do by the rules of the game. He carried on running his line. That's how I saw it anyway, and I'm sticking to that story.
That's a Union Jack pair of glasses, Phil.
It's the far corner.
Well, hey, we're in the last 10 minutes. We'll think forever, you know. That's a great ball from Senior, wide to Gareth Hock. We'll think forever about the opening 6 minutes that Australia had in this Test match, won't we?
Well, it'll be a nightmare. And each time that they see it on the videotape, they know that they virtually threw the game away.
12 points the difference, and Maguire running it on the last, but the pass in front of Lee Gilmore.
Neat little set from Danny Maguire. Gilmore's worked hard. One of the few occasions that we've seen the Australian line of defence, they came out of it.
Not a bad decision actually from Maguire. If only the pass would have been a bit crisper. You could see on the high shot there was something on for Great Britain down this right-hand side.
There's been moments, Eddie, we know we've had them stretched. We know them where they've struggled to get back, but it's the final pass, the final kick.
It's core
it hasn't
skills,
been
isn't
good. It is.
This is Hodges.
Australia quite content now. They'll just pile it up with the forwards. They know they've got a good kicking game out there.
Hindmarsh, back it goes to Thurston. Short pass. This is Inglis. Was it my imagination, or has Inglis been involved more in the centre of the field tonight than we've seen him recently?
Well, they share the work, and that shows you a confident side. Take the pressure off the forwards. They go looking for it.
Well, he's currently playing fullback as well, so he gets an opportunity, but he does go looking for work. There's no question about it. And I think he's been well contained by the Great Britain side. In fact, I think they've defended pretty well, certainly this half. You take away that early start, that early onslaught, and their defensive efforts have been very, very good. They just haven't created enough pressure for me when they've had the football.
Kaufusi, the dummy half. Lockyer. Drop goal from Lockyer. Drop goal from Darren Lockyer. And that will seal it. He knows that Great Britain now have to score 3 times. 23 points to 10. Great Britain will be heading home, and Australia will be playing New Zealand in the Tri-Nations final at the Aussie Stadium next weekend. And I tell you what, the Kiwis watching this in the base in Parramatta, after what they did to Great Britain last week, they will not be fazed by what they've seen here.
Not whatsoever. And the way that the Kiwi forwards ripped us apart last week in Wellington, they'll feel pretty confident as well. But they'll also realise the man who's just dropped that one-pointer, Darren Lockyer, what a great international star he is.
Fantastic. We've just seen him kick his 3rd one-pointer. Here it is for Australia. He also kicked a field goal in the grand final for the Brisbane Broncos this year as well. I think, I say, the smart money is on Mr. Lockyer to be named as the Golden Boot winner for 2006 as the International Player of the Year.
Again, a basic kick into the corner. Ricky Stewart, well, he's certainly slammed quite a few of his critics. And he realises that he had to have a convincing win tonight. He would have been extremely pleased with the fact that he had a dream start. 2 tries in the opening 6 or 7 minutes is enough to absolutely knock the stuffing out of any international team.
But after that start, it hasn't been the convincing performance, the obliteration that many people inside this ground in the green and golds would have wanted.
You're right, but the problem is that when the opportunity presents itself, they take it. We don't. It's no fluke.
Well, there is a very, very deep pool of talent for Ricky Stewart to select from. There aren't too many overseas players playing in the NRL. Gleeson gets to his feet, plays the ball to Wilkin. Here is Maguire. Here is Morley. He has been, along with Peacock, an absolute Trojan tonight. Maguire hoists the kick. Inglis at full-back. Easy. Horn missed it. Oh, Keith Senior didn't.
Well, Hock was the one that had the stray arm right into the face. Now Michael Hunt. Positional work has been good. See the replay here. It was Hock that on Inglis that caught it right in the face. No doubt about it. No swinging arm, just a grab. But I've been impressed with this fella this second half. He's had to play out wide on the left. Actually, a couple of times he's been caught playing out on the wing. You can't fault the effort, but you've got to fault the finishing.
Leon Price, with a bad ankle, about to come on again for the last 4 minutes or so. Carmichael Hunt. This is Cameron Smith, ball on the inside to Gaznia. Important tackle again by Roby, who has been equally as good as the big men. Oh, great stuff. Wonderful try from Anthony Tupou. The Sydney Roosters substitute scores his first international try. And his test debut was in the side which beat New Zealand in Melbourne last month by 20 points to 15. When they really did play their get-out-of-jail card in this Tri-Nations series. But Anthony Tupou, it was fantastic skills again.
See how he just holds the ball back. Beautiful pass. Nothing that Wilkin could do about it. And Tupou was celebrating before he went over the whitewash. But the build-up to this was so impressive by the green and golds. This was just the finish. It was a quick play the balls on 3 occasions before this that put them in the position. It's a very tired Great Britain defence now. You'll remember this for quite some time. It's the icing on the cake. It has been an impressive performance. When they want to turn the heat, they know how to do it, the green and golds.
Well, Steve-O, they've gone for the quick play the ball, hasn't they? They just did what we call dump plays. They just were prepared to go forward, land, elbows, knees, quick play the ball. Jonathan Thurston, I think he took about 6 or 7 strides before he passed the ball to Anthony Tupou. So that indicates that the fence hadn't been set. They were moving lateral. Player of Jonathan Thurston's skill was always going to set that up.
All smiles on the terraces. Australia, New Zealand in the Tri-Nations final. Jonathan Thurston with this conversion attempt. Oh, and he's drifted it in beautifully. Great Britain haven't got a specialist goal kicker out there, but the Aussies have. They've got a couple. And Thurston, one of the best. 29 points to 10. The Kangaroos will go back to Sydney. The scars of battle plain for all to see. And it will be a real physical battle against New Zealand at the Aussie Stadium next Saturday night. If you enjoy your rugby league, and I know that all of you watching at home will do, it will be an absolute exhibition of the best that this international game has to offer. And Australia smarting from the fact that they were beaten in the final last year. They want another crack at the Kiwis, but the Kiwis, after what we saw last week, they've got plenty waiting for them.
Yeah, they'll be confident, but so will Australia.
Great tackle by the try scorer Tupou on Martin Gleeson. Another penalty.
Well, a quick tap, they've got to get on with it. It really is just mere consolation, but...
And respectability.
They have tried hard at it, and again it comes down to the fact we do it each year, don't we?
Oh.
We play far too many games in Super League, to my opinion, and we are then asked to do 4 on the bounce, week in, week out, while Australia and New Zealand have a rest. When are we going to learn? I'm not using that as any excuse. The green and golds have been superb tonight. But surely we've got to look at the fact that we've got to give our players a little bit more rest in a build-up for such a competition like this.
Steve-O, we can debate the issue when we have finished the match here, because we've got plenty of talking to do when the final siren sounds here. That's a great effort. Well, he started the series with a great effort and he finishes it with a great effort.
For me, it's between Peacock and Ellis, the 2 standouts for Great Britain during the last 4 weeks we've seen, Eddie.
Here is Horn, this is Wellens, that's Senior, quick hands to Rayner. The next tackle will finish it. Rayner dabs it over the top, doesn't regather. Nathan Hindmarsh does. Here comes Smith, here comes Lockyer. Infield it goes to Carmichael Hunt. Carmichael Hunt with the crossfield kick. It lands for Brent Tate. It lands for Tate. Magnificent. Absolutely breathtaking. Britain tried to catch them wide. And Australia, you never say it's over till it's over. Brent Tate with the try. And a classical difference between the two rugby league nations. Sensational from the Kangaroos. Absolutely sensational. That will send a shiver or two down a Kiwi's back.
Especially with the fact that they realise that that is what occurred to the Kiwis. Remember, they was in full charge. He'll be back for the final, Big Willie Mason. But what a finish to a dramatic game. Sheer quality. They could have just gone to ground. Hindmarsh could have said, we've got this game won. No, we didn't. Let's keep it alive. What about the pass from Cameron Smith to the skipper? And then the kick from Carmichael Hunt. No one at home. Tate, you've got to give credit to Gareth Ellis. He tried everything, but take nothing away from this wonderful green and gold effort. That was sheer quality. Absolute class of the highest standing.
18 carat, no question. Shell-shocked. Brave, but shell-shocked.
You have to hand it to the class. You know, before the match we had the Australian pundit Phil Gould with us in here. On offer, I asked him to guess the final score. He wrote down on a slip of paper 36 points to 10 to Australia. If this kick goes over, there's only 1 point out.
Well, he would, wouldn't he? But he knows a bit, doesn't he?
I think, Eddie, he knows what he's talking about, and I think he makes a point. Great Britain need to have a look at what they're doing.
This is Thurston to sweep the ball over. No. 33-10 it ends up. Jonathan Thurston with the miss, but it was way out on the far side. And this Suncorp Stadium, this magnificent venue. And Adrian Morley waves farewell to Australia, as he did not want to do as a member of a beaten Lions side. But boy, Morley and Peacock and Ellis, they put in. In fact, to be fair, all the players have put in on this trip. But at the end of the day, sadly, when the heat is on, we're just a little light.
The class has shown throughout this tournament. We had our share. We showed in that first game.
We should have beaten New Zealand in Christchurch. Let's hear from Darren Lockyer, this magician. He's with Bill.
Darren, I think the drop goal was maybe evidence of how much a struggle that became.
Yeah, well, hey, look, we got off to a great start, but to GB's credit, they hung in there, mate. They made a real fist of it.
But what class at the end when it matters?
Yeah, well, I think we were in the box seat. You know, the pressure was on them, and I thought our defence, hung in there well at the right time.
Just how motivated were you going into this game? There was some suggestion that being already in the final, that might not be a factor, but it didn't appear to be lacking.
No, we came up against a good Great Britain outfit last start. They played really well, and we knew that tonight we had to play as if we were playing in a final. You know, we didn't want to go into next week underdone.
Of course, the Kiwis will have been watching this tonight, and what they did to Great Britain last week as well must be in your minds. Yeah, look, New Zealand were pretty awesome last week, and I'm sure they'll come into the final with some confidence, and we'll get a bit out of tonight as well. Thanks for your time. No worries, mate. Thanks.
He's a great ambassador for the game, Darren Lockyer, and well, it'll be a monumental Tri-Nations final. There's no doubt about that, between Australia and New Zealand. Petero Civoniceva, he said this week all the teammates were proud to be Australians. Here he is.
Petero, the scoreboard looks pretty comprehensive in the end, but it was a bit of a struggle at times.
Yeah, it was very much an arm wrestle. And I always take my hat off to the Great Britain side. They showed tremendous spirit, and they've had a fantastic tournament, but unfortunately for them it comes to an end tonight.
Certainly in the pack it was very much give and take, wasn't it?
Oh, very much so. All the Australian players have a lot of respect for the guys in the English forward pack. We all know what Adrian Morley does week in, week out for the Roosters. And, you know, a guy like Peacock, I mean, he's a fantastic talent, and we always knew it was going to be tough.
Well, now it's the Kiwis in the final. Is there a bit of a score to settle there?
Yeah, very much so. You know, they beat us comprehensively last year, and it was a very long off season for all of us. You know, we came back, and there was a lot of media scrutiny here in Australia, and I know all of us, you know, want to put that to rest.
You've been brooding about it a bit.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's been in the back of our minds. I mean, the whole season, you know, it's been in the back of my mind. A bit of retribution, and hopefully it'll come next weekend.
Thanks very much for your time, Petro.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
He talks very well for a prop forward, doesn't he, Petro Civoniceva? The British disappointed, deflated, and out on the field I can see Jamie Peacock. He is absolutely distraught that the team have lost here, but hey, if they strike medals for losers, you'd give one to this fella, Bill.
Well, you would indeed, Eddie. Jamie, an immense effort, particularly in the second half, but those first 6 minutes when you were possibly caught a little bit sleepy?
Yeah, probably credit to the Australians in the first 6 minutes, you know. With us beating them last time, Ricky Schultz probably got them fired up, and they come out, you know, and showed us how to play rugby to start off with. You know, you can't give any team that kind of start, especially Australia.
And yet, when you hauled yourself back into the game in the second half, you must have thought another score, and you could maybe have put some pressure on them.
Yeah, probably when Gazzarena broke through. I think if we could have scored then, you know, a great tackle from, I think it was Carmichael Hunt. If we score then maybe we can go on and win it, you know, but we don't think the scoreline reflects the game, to be honest, but that's rugby, innit?
It's been a gruelling 4 weeks for you. Just how tough was it getting up for this game after last weekend?
Oh, it's never, you know, tough to get up for a game when you've been beat the week before. You know, that's the greatest thing about touring, is playing the football, you know. It's good to play in places like these. You know, it's just disappointing with the result, to be honest.
I mean, you've got some accolades from the Aussies, and they're always grudging when they're giving to the Great Britain, so from a personal point of view, at least, it must be satisfactory.
Yeah, I suppose so, but you know, I'd swap it all to be in that final, to be honest. Everything, you know, I want it to be there next week, but I'm not. So,
Jamie, thanks.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Well, he's heartbroken. He really is, and his effort in this cause in the Southern Hemisphere over the past month has been absolutely immense, and I bet the mortgage on the fact that Brian Noble will pay tribute to him now.
Brian, first up, a word of praise for your skipper, because again he led from the front tonight.
He's a world-class player. I think we've got 6 or 7 world-class performances tonight, and through this series. What we've not managed to do is get ourselves a start tonight. We're behind, you know, 5 minutes gone and 12-0 down. And a couple of silly little things as well, but we've hung in there, and at one point we created a couple of opportunities down the left-hand side when it was within 2 scores. Had we got one of those over the line, then I think it might have been a different story. But the reality is this is a tough trip and a tough ask for all our players, and they've all stood up. They can walk out of this stadium with their body language fully, you know, intact, and their pride fully intact. We've just given ourselves too much to do.
That must be the annoying thing, because you did that in the first 5-6 minutes. After that, certainly for a long stretch of the game, it's very much nip and tuck.
And it's always going to be. I believe strongly, and I'm purely of the belief that this team's not far away. We've had to juggle things around through the trip. The administrators need to give us a little bit of help in relation to how we can prepare, and a little bit of a break within that. But I'm very proud of the players, and so should the people at home. We didn't quite come up with it, but it's certainly not an issue of talent, and it's certainly not an issue of you know, belief. It's an issue of give us a fair crack, the administrators.
Well, exactly. I mean, you've raised the issue. When you think about it, some of these players were starting pre-season training a year ago. I mean, they've been at it through what has been recognised as one of Super League's toughest seasons, and then had to back up with this. It's asking a heck of a lot, isn't it?
I think so, but we didn't focus at once. It's now my job and the administrators in the RFL to try and get a little bit of parity in relation to the tournament. In reality, 5 grand finals on the bounce is too hard for anybody, for Australia or New Zealand, and we have to do it. Even if they gave us a break in between where we could rest a few people, you know, in relation to the tournament, we'd have a better chance. We play behind the 8 ball, but again, you know, we haven't made any excuses, not once on this trip, and we just need a fair crack at the whip.
You could have done maybe with a better kicking game tonight?
Absolutely, you could always do with a better kicking game, you know. And the things about our performance that weren't quite patient enough, but, you know, they kept going. And, you know, some people, you know, all the players can really hold themselves, you know, in good esteem and, you know, get back in a few weeks' time and start a Super League again. So it's a tough ask.
You've had 2 years in the job, Brian. Are you ready to go round again?
I think about 3 years, actually.
2004, yeah.
In a blink of an eye, yeah. First of all, you've got to be offered a job. And you know, I think what we need to do is, you know, look at this sensibly and look for the players' sake. You know, if we'd have had an element of parity in relation to what we have to do, you know, the reality of that is, if we'd have got to the final, probably they'd have flown us to Alaska to play the Eskimos. It's that tough a challenge, I really believe that. But that's not next year. We just want a level playing field so our players can have the best crack of the whip.
Thanks, Brian.
Pleasure, thank you.
Well, he is disappointed as well as very many of the touring supporters are as well, needless to say. But the Australians here in front of a Tri-Nations record crowd, nudging 45,000. And, well, Brisbane really has supported the international football here tonight. And I hope that the public in Sydney do exactly the same again in 7 days' time. This magnificent ground is emptying rapidly. We will be here with you after the break, when we'll pick over the bones of yet another British disappointment, but it is a disappointment that has come after great effort. 33-10, Australia-New Zealand in the 2006 Tri-Nations final.
Thumping hit from Samaras.
Today on Prem Plus, in association with Sky Bets.
Oh, how about that?
At 12:30, Man City versus Fulham.
Brilliant stuff.
And then at 5 p.m, Middlesbrough v Liverpool.
Garcia, it's wonderful.
You can order either of these games for £8. See channel 480 or call 08705 160 160.
Live with technology from 9295.
Your heart beats for the game. You bleed the colours of your club. For you, there is only one club, and for the true supporter, Wallbangers are the biggest thing to ever hit your wall.
Wallbangers are high-def club crests and life-size players. Too big for regular retail stores, Wallbangers are only available in club shops and online at www.wallbangers.co.uk. So much more than a poster. A Wallbanger is made from tear-resistant, self-adhesive vinyl. Wallbangers crests include one giant crest, one small crest, and 3 word marks. Players are ripped straight from the action. Each is high-def, crystal clear and die-cut. The power and passion of the game right on your wall. Wallbangers are removable and reusable, so you can stick the action where you want. But Wallbangers are only available in club shops or when you visit www.wallbangers.co.uk. Wallbangers, high def, huge impact on your wall.
Imagine where your conversations could take you this Christmas.
Space travels in my blood. There ain't nothing I can do about it. Long journeys wear me out. I know I can't live without it. Oh no, I think I'm on another world with you. With you. I think I'm on another planet with you.
With Vodafone Family, you can make unlimited calls between 4 people. Make the most of now.
Fujitsu Siemens Scalio 6405. It's got an Intel Pentium D processor with dual-core technology, and it's just $499.
I'm looking for a computer that stores lots of photos. I'm buying the kids' cameras for Christmas.
It's got a 250 gig hard drive and a card reader, and it's got up to 512 meg of graphics memory. At $499, it won't be around for long, though. I'd be quick.
Internet prices to take home today. PC World. The best of both worlds.
Right on target. Now you can target only your grey hair with Just for Men. In 5 easy minutes, it replaces grey with subtle tones for a natural look.
You got me.
Right on target, just for men, the Rejuvenator.
Jeff, I've got it. We'll beat your insurance deal. I'll give you £50.
If it's cheaper, we'll drop our price and give you £50. Kiss. No kiss.
We're so confident we'll beat your home insurance renewal that if it's cheaper, we'll drop our price by up to £100.
Hello?
And give you £50 when you switch. Insurance from Barclays. Now there's a thought.
Well, it's a sorry but familiar tale, I'm afraid. Great Britain are not going to be playing in the Tri-Nations final. 33 points to 10. A little lopsided, the scoreline. It doesn't really reflect the effort from the Great Britain team, but boy, the Australians were running very hot right the way through to the very last minute. 33-10, over 44,000 here, and it means that it's an Australia-New Zealand Tri-Nations final again, because the Aussies have got the 6 points, New Zealand have the 2, even though they had 2 taken away, and Great Britain just the 2 points, courtesy of the win in Sydney a fortnight ago. Bravery from Great Britain, but sadly just short of the mark again. So it's a repeat of the 2005 Tri-Nations final, this time though not at Elland Road, but at the Aussie Stadium in Sydney. And the New Zealanders, well, their coach Brian McLennan said he was blowing up the green and gold balloons all week, and there'd be a party at the Parramatta Hotel if Australia beat Great Britain, and beat Great Britain they did. Now, Brian Noble, Sean McRae, was alluding at the end of the match in the interview with Bill there that maybe there are some changes that are needed to the basic fabric of the game. We've no doubt we will come on to that during the course of our discussion here for the next 20 minutes or so. But tonight, it was a brave battle from Britain. Let's take nothing away from their players. Bravery, Peacock, Morley, Roby, etc. carried the battle forward, but just came up short.
Look, this is a tough tournament, no question about it. Great Britain are the only side that are asked to play 4 weeks in a row, and Brian's not really been able to rest any of his players, simply because of the way that the cards have fallen, if you like. He's had to play what he considers his strongest team every single week. That's very, very difficult to do. New Zealand have had a break, Australia have had a break, but Great Britain have had to play that over 1 month. That's tough on a tour. And I thought there were some signs tonight where they looked tired, but I thought there were signs as well where they thought, we don't want to be on the plane, we don't want to go back to England just yet, we want to be in that final next week. They just didn't execute some plays well enough for me. I thought they defended pretty well. 33 points scored against you indicates that you haven't defended well. I think they did. The defence wasn't the problem. It was their ability to build pressure, it was their ability to accept the invitations from the Australian side when they turned ball over, said, right, there you go, you've got field position, what are you going to do with it? And they just didn't do enough with that and didn't score enough points. To beat Australia here tonight, you had to score a lot of points, and they just weren't capable of doing it, unfortunately, yet they provided themselves with opportunities. I look back at this game and reflect on it and say, oh, crikey, we were that close, but we just didn't get there and we weren't there and that ball didn't stick. And that's the business we're in. That's the ball game. That's how you play it. But look, over the tour, I give them a lot of credit. And I think, we're talking about Jamie Peacock and we're talking about other players. The player for me that stood out, if there's a rookie award, Gareth Hock, without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, I think he's been absolutely sensational for a player who really, no one in Australia would have heard of him. And I think he can rightly hold his head up, the same as many Great Britain players can.
Well, the Australians started in sensational fashion, and they finished with sheer breathtaking brilliance, Phil. I mean, the golf in class was there for all to see at the end. It was going to be a Great Britain try, and look what happened.
It was, of course it was, and they've got a lot of class. They've got a massive gap, I think, between Great Britain and Australia at the moment. I think the fixture format is an excuse that Great Britain could hide behind if they wanted to. The skill level, if that was the first game of Rugby League you've ever watched, you'd be able to tell that the guys in the green and gold shirts have got a greater skill level than the guys in the red, white and blue. That's a fact. You can see that for yourself, can't you? And I think that unless you wake up to ourselves, I think when you're in denial, it's very hard to solve a problem. Too many people, in my opinion, in Great Britain, think that we are catching up to Australia and we've done really well in this tournament. We've got some world-class players. But Brian Noble was the captain of Great Britain over 20 years ago, and they put in a massive effort, but they didn't beat Australia. Jamie Peacock's put in a similar effort here now over 20 years later, and still the same result. So I think you've really got to wake up to yourselves and address it. If it's something that people in Britain want to change, then there has to be a significant weight behind it. Who wanted Great Britain to win last December when they got knocked out at the KC Stadium in Hull? Very few people, if any, had any interest in Great Britain winning here tonight. They were all prepared to wait. Everybody wants to win in November. You've got to want to win for 11 months before if you're not as good as your opponents and you're trying to catch them up.
You put your money where your mouth is, didn't you, last year? We'll talk to you more about this, Phil, and we'll get Steve-O's opinion as well. But we've got to go down to the sideline because one of the British heroes was Adrian Morley, and here he is with Bill.
Adrian, that must be so hard to take because you more than most will know that there's probably not that much between these two sides despite what that scoreboard said.
No, I don't think we deserve that scoreline. I thought, they tried at the end, we didn't deserve that, and we just let them get away too good a start, and you can't do that with a team like Australia. But once we did settle in, thought we played quite well, but it was disappointing really.
And yet they took their chances, and that's probably what cost Great Britain.
Yeah, they did. They're a champion side. They're not the world champions for nothing. We tried hard, but our best wasn't good enough.
What would you reckon Australia's chances against the Kiwis?
Well, they'll probably be favourites, but the Kiwis are a top side as well. So hopefully it'll be as good as the games we've seen in the pool matches, and hope it's a good game.
On a personal note, not the way you wanted to bow out in Australia.
No, it isn't. Disappointing result for me personally and the team, but that's the way rugby league goes sometimes. Hopefully I'll get to play in Australia again. If I don't, I want to thank everyone who supported me. I've had a great time.
You've had some great times.
I've had some great times, yeah.
And great memories.
That's right.
This won't be one of them, though.
No, this isn't one of them, but even though we got beat, I thought it was a great atmosphere in the crowd, and to play in front of that many people, hopefully it won't be the last game, but if it is, so be it.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you playing in Super League next season.
I'm looking forward. Cheers, Bill.
Thanks, Adrian.
I bet they are in Warrington as well. They're looking forward to seeing Adrian Morley, but sadly we won't be seeing him in the Tri-Nations final next week. Now Phil has had a go, and I think it's about time that we brought Steve-O in. I know that your hobby horse is we play too many games, but what can we do? Great Britain have got to come here and play 5 weeks on a row. The Australians, as you say, take a week off. The Kiwis do the same. Do we have to dovetail the seasons so as 2 grand finals finish on the same day?
Without a doubt. It's quite simple, isn't it? And yet, we don't seem to learn by our mistakes. Take nothing away from this Australian outfit. They were very, very good. They know how to slow the game down. They know how to take and put pressure on the opposition. We failed to do that. We had plenty of opportunities. We plenty of half chances. But yet, we seem to panic. You don't see